You hate ads? I hate ads. You know what I like? Patreon.com/inkdependence keeps this channel ad-free. Hello folks, what's up? My name is Mike, this is Inkdependence, and today we have an ink for you. This is Robert Oster, and you can see this has a silver label and a silver cap. This is actually, I think, the first of the Robert Osters that I have reviewed that are shimmers, which is kind of fun. I don't know why I haven't done that before, I just kind of haven't. This one is Atlas Stationers Vampire Pigeon, which is a really fun name, and it actually comes from this little illustration that Brendan drew, I think, during a live stream of some sort, and thus this ink was born. I love an ink that comes from a weird little coincidence like that. It's kind of what I did with Cheerio Water Bus. I'm like, that's too funny not to have an ink for it, that kind of thing. And that's what happened with Vampire Pigeon here. So you can see this is a red ink, obviously, and you can see down here that it looks like there are two layers of shimmer, and that's because there are two shimmers. There is a green shimmer, which you can see down here, and then a purple shimmer layer up here, which is kind of interesting that they layered that way. You can see both of them sort of intermingling down here, but they also kind of layered, which is interesting. They must have different densities or something as they fall out of solution. That's fun, right? So let's take a look at this ink on some paper and all that. This is my usual Nebula Casual Note, which is a 90 GSM paper. And wow, look at all that shimmer. It is really showing off here. If you tilt it a little bit, that shimmer kind of, the effect is gone. You can see the ink itself, but man, lots of shimmer here. This is actually a really fun ink, and I like it a lot. Look at this action right here in the swatch. Super nice, very sparkly, lots of action going on there. The flow on here, pretty medium, I would say. I didn't have any problems with it binding up or anything like that, which is good. Sometimes you get a shimmer that wants to bind up your pens. I didn't have that in this case. Excellent on the 20-pound paper. In fact, really good on that paper. We'll look at that here a little bit later. Qualities, green and purple shimmer, real nice. Also a little bit of shading, but that takes a real backseat to the shimmer in this case. The pen, Novelure and Galen Leather have this pen right here, which is a Novelure, a narwhal piston filler pen. I don't actually think it has a name beyond that, but you can see a little bit of that shimmer where it was laying down on the side. A lot of nice red in there shifting around. This is a double broad nib, so it has a pretty good size nib. It's not the biggest double broad on earth, but it definitely gets the job done, and it had no problem at all with this shimmer. I'd be surprised if other pens did either. So as I say here, really fun ink, very bright red, and not really what I think of as like a vampire sort of red, but I think it's kind of an unserious red, and I like that because it is Vampire Pigeon, not like, I don't know, Dracula's Bloodthirst, or like something like Metal, you know? Like, this is a very like fun, cheerful, kind of whimsical ink, and I really dig it. So give this thing a big nib, just let it stretch its wings, caca, or whatever, a coo. I don't know what pigeon's a coo, I guess. Oh wow, look at that. Like let it, like give it a little bit of a shake, and now it's like all in there. I really like shimmer inks. I think they're fun. So there you go. But yeah, let it stretch its wings. This is really cool, and I kind of dig it. These are 50 ml bottles, these plastic ones right here, and they are $26, which is, I think, the usual price for Robert Oster stuff with a bunch of shimmer in it, because it costs a little bit more. So thanks, Atlas, for sending this out for review. It's been a lot of fun. Let's do our water drop test, look at the chromatography, comparable inks, which I have a bunch of to show you, and then some other papers and that sort of thing. All right, here comes the water. There we go. Plenty of water. Didn't want to, didn't skimp there. Water comes right out of the faucet. Not a problem yet. Give this a shaky shake. Yeah, definitely a lot of red coming up. I'm not sure how well this is going to do with water. I kind of don't think this is waterproof at all. I don't know what's going to be left. Let's go ahead and mop up this bloody mess. Like that. Yeah, not much left. This is, found out a thing about vampire pigeons, and that's that they do not like water. They like water about as much as the Wicked Witch of the West and those aliens from the movie Signs. Spoiler for a 30-year-old movie. So there you go. Not great with water, comes right off, which can be a bonus if you, I don't know, spill it on a bunch of stuff, I suppose. But yeah, not great with water resistance. All right, there's the chromatography, and it's a pretty interesting little chromatography. Not a whole lot of different colors going on in here. You can see the shimmer stuck down at the bottom. That's normal for this sort of thing. Shimmer does not travel up the fibers of the paper. A little bit of pink left over here, and that's kind of what we saw, which was no real water resistance. Very nice little dark layer up at the very, very top there. I'm not really sure what that is, but it definitely traveled at the very top of that that wave of the chromatography paper, and then just kind of red behind it. So yeah, interesting. All right, here it is on the 20-pound, 30% recycled copy paper from Staples. So kind of like bottom tier paper that you'll find in your office copier. And it actually is great on here, even from this big old double broad nib. You can see it was like kind of marker sized on there, but that's just what size the nib writes. It's just kind of it's a fat nib, that's what they do. But you'll notice there aren't no feathers at all. In fact, even looking at super close up here in the camera, I don't see any feathers, which is neat. On the back, there's a little bit of bleed through, but just barely. Like, that's basically ghosting. I mean, if you look at the rest of the stuff on here, that's one of the best examples, and that's a double broad nib. So anything smaller than that, I think is going to be great on copy paper, which is really nice. Not all inks are great on copy paper, and this one kind of is. That's impressive. Well done there, Robert Oster. All right, here we have, this is Marmon Mnemosyne paper. This is a grid page here, which I don't use a whole lot of grid, but I do like this Mnemosyne grid. Oh, it's only printed on one side. How did I never notice that before? Interesting. This is from a pad. You can see it's perforated at the top. Interesting. Anyway, very unobtrusive sort of grid here. This ink worked really nicely on here. No problems at all. It looks good. It's very shiny. You get that bright red color going on. Yeah, I dig it. Any bleed through? No. It takes a lot to bleed through Mnemosyne paper. This Mormon stuff is pretty much aces. There's an extreme close up for you. Right there, kind of a tomato. You get more shading on here than I thought you did, but it looks really nice. All right, next up is my Galen Leather Co. Everyday book. This is Tomoe River, and there is the Vampire Pigeon, which looks real nice. It's actually a lot lighter on this paper. I think probably because it just doesn't really soak into Tomoe River, because nothing does. But the shimmer looks good. It's a pleasant red color. Yeah, dig it. Last up for papers, this is my currently inked book. This is Inky Fingers. This is wheat straw paper. The thing you'll most likely find that is close enough to this is sugarcane paper. So pretty normal paper, but works really well with fountain pens. And you can see it works really nicely with this ink here. Good amount of shimmer, little bit of shading there. No bleeding, feathering, spreading, none of that mess. You're not really going to get that on here anyway, but super not with this ink. Really good stuff. All right, now let's look at a whole bunch of colors. I have a big, thick stack of colors here. I went ahead and pulled a bunch of my shimmery reds because I have a bunch, and you'll want to be able to pick your favorite shimmery red, I think. So here's the Vampire Pigeon. You can really see, look at all that shimmer. That was done with probably a glass dip pen, I'm almost certain. And it's pretty great with a glass pen, right? Woo, real neat. All right, there we go. There's that one. Then I have Warangul Dracula, which is a different flavor of ink. You'll see, you'll also find a review for this on my channel. Really like this one as well. Got this from my friend Ruth. This is another kind of like whimsical red, but with like a blue shimmer. Real neat. Then we have Diamine Cult Pens Coronation Shimmer. I got this one, I don't know, over the summer, I believe. This is for the coronation of King Charles, I believe it was. So it must have been, right? But bright red, a little bit of that blue shimmer as well. It's actually kind of similar. Isn't that interesting? Then we have Ancient Charm. This is the Phoenix. This has a ton of shimmer, and this shimmer is extremely fine. I have not had good luck with Ancient Charm inks. This shimmer tends to just clog everything up. I actually have not even put the Phoenix in a pen. I was using this other blue that's just like this, same kind of shimmer and stuff, and it just would not flow in any of my pens. So not good luck with that one with fountain pens, but with dip pens and such, it looks amazing. Then we have Diamine Shimmertastic Red Luster. This is an older shimmery ink from when Diamine was just starting these shimmers. See a whole bunch of it there in the top line, but not that much in the actual sample itself, which is kind of interesting. But that will happen sometimes with swatches. Then we've got Girbon Rouge Hematite, which is a classic. And actually, this is an ugly swatch. I want to redo this swatch because this one, frankly, I do not like very much. This is a fine ink. It's one of those ones that kind of, I think this really kicked off the whole shimmer and ultra sheen action. This is not, I'm not happy with this representation. You can barely see the shimmer, the sheen. It looks weird. But it's not at all close to Vampire Pigeon. So these are very different inks. Then we have Kiwi Inks Quetzalcoatl, which I smeared before it was dry because I'm dumb, but this has a huge amount of sheen and also a fair amount of shimmer hiding in there as well, but I think it's kind of getting drowned out by the sheen. You can see the blue shimmer in the middle, so a little bit similar. Same-ish kind of red, but maybe a little bit, I don't know, pinker, perhaps, in the Quetzalcoatl. Then we've got Robert Oster, Endless Pens. This is New Year, New Hue, which I missed out on, but my friend B. Haven sent me a sample of this. And this is kind of like this Wearing Gold Dracula, actually. Another red with some blue shimmer, but it's a very different red. It's very cranberry. All right, now for some not-so-shimmer inks. This is Schaefer Inferno, which I think is kind of close to the red that you get from Vampire Pigeon here. Of course, no shimmer in this one. So if you're like, I like that red, but I don't care about shimmer, see if you can find some Schaefer Inferno. I don't know if they're going to make this anymore. If you find it out there, grab it because it's a beautiful red. And I just don't know if they're going to keep making it. Three Oysters Chili Red. I don't like Three Oysters as much as these other brands, but this is a pretty nice red. Has a little bit of depth to it. It's pretty cool. Colorverse Golden Gate Bridge, which I think is actually darker than Vampire Pigeon in this light. When I was pulling it, I was like, I don't know, this and this look like they're fairly similar, but I don't know. Maybe they're not all that similar after all. And then lastly, I went ahead and pulled Robert Oster's Fire Engine Red, which is an ink. And true story, I got this sample, it turns out a very long time ago, I guess, but I never reviewed this because I used it up so quickly that I didn't have any left to review. But it is in the same vein as Schaefer Inferno, and I think the base red here for Vampire Pigeon, I think it's pretty close. So yeah, I'm not surprised I like this one since it's so close to a red that I just used too fast to even review, and that doesn't happen very often, but it did happen here. So there you go. That's Robert Oster Vampire Pigeon. This is an Atlas Pens exclusive, and it's a real nice ink. So if you're looking for a very shimmery, sort of bright and cheery red, check out Robert Oster Vampire Pigeon. And until next time, I'll see you later. Take care of yourselves out there, and watch out for swooping vampire pigeons that also kind of look like a pirate. I think he's wearing a pirate hat. I don't know, and a cape. Just watch out for that. You don't want that. All right, that's it. I'll see y'all later. Peace out.